Hello everyone, welcome to a tag questions video. Get ready to test your knowledge and have some fun. But before we begin, let's quickly brush up on what tag questions are all about. So tag questions are those little additions at the end of a statement that transform it into a question. Okay? I've made a detailed video about tag questions previously, you can check it. So, are you ready now? Let's go. You have to choose A, B, or C to complete these sentences. So let's say the first. She doesn't like ice cream. Should we say A, B, or C? Does she? Isn't she? Isn't it? So the answer is she doesn't like ice cream. Does she? Next. He has finished his work. Has he? Hasn't he? Or hasn't it? The answer is he has finished his work, hasn't he? Remember, you have to use the opposite form, okay? You have to invert the subject and the auxiliary. Here, he has finished, hasn't he? You have to match the verb tense, okay? Here, it's the same. The verb tense of the tag question matches the tense of the main verb. He hasn't finished, hasn't he? You have also to use the appropriate pronoun. That's he. Next. She hadn't seen the movie before. Did she? Had she? Hasn't she? Of course, here we have the negative form. You have to remove it in the tag question. She hadn't seen the movie before. Had she? Next. They went to the party. Weren't they? Doesn't it? Didn't they? Here it is a verb in the past, simple, and it's irregular. They went to the party, didn't they? Because they went, the infinitive is they, is to go. And you have to say in the negative form, didn't go. So you say they went to the party, didn't they? Next. She isn't at home. Does she? Isn't she? Is she? Of course, here there is the negative form. You have to use the affirmative. She isn't at home. Is she? Next. She eats fish every day. Does she? Isn't she? Doesn't she? She eats fish every day, doesn't she? Eats is a main verb. It's not an auxiliary. We need does because there is not. You say she eats fish, doesn't she? She eats fish every day, doesn't she? Next. They are studying French. Do they? Isn't it? Aren't they? Here you have to say, aren't they? They are studying French, aren't they? We keep the same auxiliary. Here it's positive, here it must be negative. We keep the same pronoun. He won't finish his homework. Won't he? Will he? Does it? Won't is will not. Of course, here there is the negative form. Here it must be positive. He won't finish his homework. Will he? Next. They won't be waiting for the train. Sorry. They won't be waiting for the train. Will they? Won't they? Won't he? They won't be waiting for the train. Will they? Here it's negative. Here it must be positive. We keep the same pronoun, so it cannot be won't he here or will he, because here we have they. Will they? Next. She used to take a bus. Will she? Did she? Won't she? Used to is a past habit. Of course, she used to take a bus, didn't she? Next. Don't be stupid. Do you? Don't you? Will you? Don't be stupid is the imperative form. In the previous video, I explained how to use the imperative form using a tag question. Of course, don't be stupid. Will you? Next. Let's take some photos. Don't you? Shall we? Won't you? Let's take is a suggestion. You suggest taking some pics together. What would you say? Shall we? Let's take, it means you and me. Let's take some photos. Shall we? Thank you for having watched my video and goodbye.